Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into some really evocative source material. It's the transcript from Caleb King's song, He's Enough.
Okay.
We're going to try and unpack the emotional journey here, how it moves from this real simplicity to something much more about reliance, about dependence.
Yeah, it's a fascinating piece because it lays out a whole story, almost like a little play. You've got these really stark contrasts, right? The quiet past versus this kind of chaotic present. And it all builds towards, well, a realization about what's constant. It's really about what happens when your safety net disappears.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really pull apart those key moments, those turning points in the emotion. We want to see how these very specific details, like the rhythm of everyday life, ground this big spiritual idea. It's about change, struggle, and finding how to rest in the end.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The first part, we're calling it the idyllic past in the old town. It really sets the scene, establishes this feeling of ease.
It really does. The narrator kicks off saying, growing up thinking this life was easy. That immediately tells you something, right? A kind of innocence, maybe naivete that's about to get shaken up. They say, living felt simple, and this line is crucial. Didn't know about life outside of this old town.
Right, that old town. It's not just geography, is it? It's a whole mindset. A closed-off, predictable little world.
And the predictability came from the structure, the routine. That's what made it feel safe.
Yeah, and the lyrics do such a good job grounding that feeling in, like actual things you can picture. You hear about the rhythm of the day, dad get home and mama cooks up,
Yeah.
and sitting around the table talking for hours. It wasn't just nice, it was orderly. You knew what was coming next.
And that order meant security. Think about the difference between that long, easy conversation, talking for hours, which suggests time, stability, and the kind of panic breathing we hear about later.
Absolutely. And that line, always had what I needed, it confirms that the simplicity wasn't earned, maybe. It was provided. They were just sort of receiving peace, not making it.
Yeah. Which leads to this limited view, They say straight up, never thought about life outside this old time. Why would they?
Exactly. They never had to question anything. The comfort zone was complete. And that lack of questioning is just the perfect setup for the shock, the impact, when those old town walls come down.
It really highlights the central irony, doesn't it? They were enjoying the piece, but didn't grasp where it really came from until they were miles away from it, metaphorically speaking.
Which takes us right into the next section, the unacknowledged foundation. It's interesting because the story doesn't jump straight to the crisis. Instead, there's this pause, a big moment where the narrator looks back and sees that routine completely differently.
Yes. This is such a key pivot. It goes from just fond memories to figuring something out. He connects those simple routines to something deeper, something that was there all along but unnoticed. The line is just so powerful. Didn't know it then, but right there in those moments, God was working on my heart.
Wow, yeah. So the easy pass wasn't just luck, it was preparation, divine groundwork being laid.
It changes everything. The simple life becomes this kind of classroom.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But here's a thought. If this realization is happening looking back, has the narrator really internalized it yet, at this point in the song? Or is it still describing a truth that hasn't really been, tested by fire?
That's a really good question, because they identify the core solution right here, before the trouble even starts. They realize what they truly needed all along, the bedrock. Trust his mercy, grace, and love. That's the stability they were absorbing, maybe unconsciously, back in that old town.
And that definition immediately clicks into the song's main theme, right? Because he's enough. Let's pause on enough. What does that mean here? It seems to mean like sufficient no matter what's going on outside. The safety and predictability of the old town aren't needed anymore because they're supposedly found in this truth that can't be shaken, theoretically at least.
It's a promise of something constant, something steady. And the lyrics really nail this down right before things get rough. The narrator spells it out. His hand will guide all of my days, and he'll never leave. He always remains. That feeling of constant presence, constant guidance, it's like the counter-argument to the chaos that's about to hit. It's like they're bracing themselves, and us, with this ultimate truth before the storm.
And that storm hits fast.
Yeah.
Which brings us to section 3, the crisis on the road. This is where that theoretical safety of the old town just crumbles under real life hitting hard.
Yeah, the transition is abrupt. Life hit the road. And here's that irony we talked about. Hitting the road was the dream. All I wanted was a life outside of that old town. They chased it, got what they thought they wanted, and bam, disaster. because the old framework didn't work out there.
And the language just shifts completely. We go from the calm kitchen table descriptions to this really frantic internal chaos. And he
Hmm.
said the lyrics are really good at translating that mental stress into physical feelings. It makes it very real.
Oh, absolutely. You feel the anxiety. It's physical. Keep drawn in my chest. And that struggle for control, trying to steady my mind, catch my breath. It's the total opposite of the easy breathing, the slow rhythm of the old town life. That shortness of breath feels like pure panic, spiritually and emotionally.
Right. So if the old town was all predictable, structure, dinner, talk, church, the road is defined by chaos, by a lack of structure,
Mm.
and it leads to failure. The narrator just admits it. Life got hard, didn't know who to turn to, it all fell apart. This is the moment that intellectual idea of enough from Section 2 gets tested,
Yeah.
and initially it doesn't hold up.
And what happens when things fall apart like that? You desperately want to go back to what felt safe. The emotion isn't just sadness, it's this raw plea. I was hoping, oh Lord, take me back to this moment.
But what moment are they talking about? It's important, I think. Are they just missing the cozy house and the routine? Or are they longing for that feeling of foundation, the spiritual bedrock they later realized was there? I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I think you're right. They want to reconnect with the truth's simplicity, not just the simple circumstances. And seeing that difference, that's the key to getting to the final resolution.
It's really interesting. The chaos on the outside forces them inward, makes them actually rely on the truth they only sort of knew intellectually before. That yearning for the past actually paves the way for the real return.
Which is section 4, reaffirmation and resolution.
And the resolution isn't about physically going back, is it? It's not escaping the road. It's about bringing the lesson from the old town onto the road. That's why the whole thing feels like it comes full circle. The narrator repeats the core message, but this time it feels earned, deeply felt, not just remembered.
Yeah, you hear the echo. God was working, he was working on my heart and showing me I can trust. But the working isn't just looking back anymore. It's happening now through the struggle. It's proven by getting through the crisis.
And the understanding of what provides stability gets locked in, but with real weight behind it now. Trust that his mercy, grace, and love is all I'm needing. The chaos didn't change the truth. It just showed how necessary it was. That idea of enough shifts from just a belief to, like, lived experience.
And the immediate result, that shift from frantic effort trying to control everything, catch their breath, to just letting go, finding peace. They can stop fighting so hard. They move from that desperate, steady my mind, catch my breath, to this quiet conclusion, because he's enough. And then the final release. Just rest here.
And that's the whole journey right there. From simple peace through chaos and failure to a deeper, tested peace. The lyrics really offer a powerful way to think about dealing with life's complexities. Sufficiency isn't about having no problems. It's about finding what's constant within the problems. Those three things we talked about. He's enough, his hand will guide, he always remains. They all come together in that final ability to just rest. The old system broke, but it's replaced by a truth that holds.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows how that memory of simple routine, the old town, becomes like a template for this lasting truth. A truth you have to learn to apply when life gets messy, when you're on the road. It's kind of a roadmap for navigating change by holding on to what doesn't change.
And notice how the narrator defines enough. It's never really about the physical comfort or the lack of problems in the old town. It's about the spiritual constants they realized were operating within that comfortable setting.
Mm-hmm. That leads us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on after this. The journey goes from this sort of unconscious stability to getting lost, and finally to a tested conscious reliance on that stability. So the question is, in your own life, with its own changes and challenges, what's the constant? What's the enduring thing, no matter how far you get from your own old town or how bumpy your road is, that lets you anchor yourself and, like the lyrics say, just rest here?
It's that difference, isn't it, between looking for solutions in your circumstances versus finding peace in your perspective. That's a pretty powerful takeaway from these lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope unpacking this gave you some interesting things to think about.